So I want to talk about like a really sort of scary subject even for me today. I want to talk about when you have the right to kill someone. And you're think, oh my god, there he goes. But I don't think I'm really going to be killing anyone because that's just not like me really. But I do want to talk about it, and I feel like I have a right to talk about it because I'm an American. Because basically every movie Hollywood releases involves, it's either a love flick. Well, no, it's not really a love flick. It's sort of like a horrible comedy now. But 90% of what Hollywood's put out are action movies with guys killing each other, and most of the time they're killing each other for a social cause. Like what's his name? Let's see. There's so many of them, but like Matt Dillon from Gunsmoke, he was always killing people in the name of social causes. If you think about it, that's all he did. Hawaii Five-0, that was one of the most violent, television network primetime series ever developed. It was one of them, criticized for its violence, but it was okay because they were fighting for right. Jack Reacher, one of my all-time favorites. I love Jack Reacher. Learned a lot from him. He may help me sometimes too, some of his ideas. But it's not as, it's much more sophisticated. But again, it's the idea of a social cause. Okay, like this person, for a social reason, he's violating the safety of the innocent masses, and so he needs to die because he's taking their lives. He started violence, so it ended in violence. Start violence, live by the sword, die by the sword. It's very, I mean, I can dig it. In fact, I have dug it for most of my life. All my life so far. And believe me, I've had opportunities. I've had cause and opportunities and, but I've never done it. And I've been called a fag because I've never done it, which is the other flip side of our existence. The whole reason I have these is because someone threatened my life when I wasn't, had done nothing to them that I didn't thought was true of. Before then, I didn't have any weapons. My dad and my uncle did, and I sold all of them after my dad died because I didn't believe in that shit. Well, that changed. So what I'm trying to say is, like, when do you have a right to kill someone? I mean, you could say you have a right to kill someone in self-defense, but okay, well, let's go with that. Let's really run with that, self-defense. Okay, so you live in a society where you, for whatever reason, you can't get a job. Okay, and let's just say that, like, it doesn't matter whether you want to get a job or not. But let's just say you can't get one for whatever reason, and so now you're starving. Okay, so let's just talk about that for a minute. If society has failed you, why does it deserve your protection? I mean, I'm just really asking this. I'm just really asking this. I'm not trying to inspire violence. I'm not trying to get you guys to run out there. I'm just asking. If society has failed you, why does it deserve your protection? I mean, like the homeless people on the streets who are reporting potholes to the city government because they want to belong, okay? Well, if, society says that these people have failed them by not working. Well, unless society can tell me what it means to be human, how can they make that assertion? How can they make that judgment? They used to say gay people should, be burned, and they used to say that, women shouldn't vote and belong to barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen, and that African Americans were slaves, and that Jews were Jesus killers. Okay, they said all of those things, but now it's not politically correct to say any of those things anymore. So if all those things change, how can they possibly say they know what it means to be a human being? And if they don't know what it means to be a human being, then how can they possibly dictate what a human being should do? And if they're going to force that human being to be part of an economic system in which they have to participate for a larger mass that has admitted they don't care about them, who in their right mind thinks that's cool? I mean, what soldier should be fighting out there knowing that when they get back, they're going to be treated like shit? What are they fighting for? Where are we going? So if the society is going to let me starve, or let people starve, why should they not expect those people to take up arms in self-defense? Okay, I mean, they know that there are people out there starving. They're rescuing cats and kittens instead. They're buying more expensive sweaters. They're throwing out 40% of their food. I just really don't understand how they can say with their heart over their hand, their hand over their heart, as it were, maybe the other way's better, you know, how can you say with a straight face that you shouldn't kill when you're killing people? I just don't understand that. I just don't understand that, okay? People are starving on your streets while you drive your Mercedes and drink your cafe lattes, or even better, you just work your own job and don't pay any attention, desperately trying to survive yourself. The other day, when I was having these terrible dental problems with a bill that was going to ruin me, I said to the woman who was the billing specialist, this is going to destroy my life, and I believe this was caused by malpractice. I don't believe it was an elective cosmetic decision. Okay, the dentist recommended X, I did X, it caused me terrible problems. And you know what she said to me? She said, I can't do anything about this because I have 3 kids. And if I lose my job, they're going to die. I can't lose this job. So I have to, she's going to use this word, but essentially, I have to wrong you to save my kids. Okay, so imagine, people, there's this whole army out there of mothers just trying to save their kids, and because of that, they're going to do wrong to you because they have no choice. They have to save their kids. How are you going to look out into a world and expect any kind of justice from anyone if you're full of mothers who have to save their kids, who are put in that position by society that just told them they're worthless to begin with? Okay, so what I see is that if a man is working a job and he has kids and he knows that he's a slave in that job and he hates that job and he resents that job and he's abused and mistreated on that job, then what he looks in the mirror, and when he looks in that mirror and thinks of his son, he thinks, my son's going to grow up knowing daddy was a slave. There's not a man or father, even a man or a father who hates their kids doesn't want their son to grow up thinking that dad was a slave. Okay, I'm sorry. Even the most, one who has the least compunction does not want that. And the deepest and depth part of the depths of their heart and bones, even if they could give a fuck about their son, they don't want to go to their grave thinking that. But they are. So what I want to know is that unless you really believe in this world, if you don't, and you have no option, and people have told you that you can die by passive, there's not even like there's a person who's going to come out and he's going to face you man to man, all right? And you're going to duke it out, and if you win, you get a living for the rest of your life. No. If you don't do what they somehow have gotten in their heads that you're supposed to do, even though they have no idea what it means to be alive or what life is, then they're gonna, they're not gonna kill you. They're gonna turn their backs on you and whistle a happy tune while you starve and become weaker and weaker and weaker and weaker and weaker and weaker until your voice fades away in your bones, and then they're gonna walk on your grave. Okay? That's the only thing that could happen according to their rules. Now I want to ask you, why shouldn't you take arms against that?